With eyes of faith. Now, here's Pastor J.E. Sturdivant.
Well, God bless you. God bless you. God bless every one of you. It's a beautiful morning. So good to be back on here. Listen, I am Pastor J.E. Bamadeli Sturdivant.
What does that Bamadeli mean?
That means come follow me home. Come go home with me in Yoruba. That is what my father in the Lord, Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, worldwide, based in Lagos, Nigeria, who will be here in the U.S. next week. That is what he named me when he met me. He said, come follow me home. And that was over 20 years ago. And since that time, I've been going back to Nigeria a minimum of three times every single year. Good to see you. Who is that on there?
That is, that's somebody, that's a new person.
New face. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Talinthia is on there. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Jean Sturdivant, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning to
thank
you
you so much. Hey, and listen, happy birthday, belated birthday to Tion. I think his birthday is...
Yes, it was on Monday.
Monday or yesterday, yes.
Happy belated.
So, happy belated, happy belated.
Price, that's who it is.
There it is. Okay, there it is.
Morning.
Yeah, we didn't see that one. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning.
But we're so blessed to be here. You have come into Back to Basics, Eyes of Faith radio broadcast, and that is the teaching, preaching ministry of J.E. Sturdivant Ministries. And we're so happy because it's not just me, it is my co-hosts, and they are here. And we have on the left of me, and you see, she got rid of the fun size. She ate it, and then had to go and buy a new box, because this is not the same box, because the old box was dented. The old box was dented, but this is what happens when you come in contact with this ministry. All the dents get worked out.
There you go.
And you become brand new.
Won't he do
she
it?
is on the left of me. It is StephTheBest.net.org.com, the DOT, brand new box of dots, .edu. She is here. Greet the people, Steph.
Hey, people, WBGR.
People.
YouTube.
Wait a minute.
Welcome new faces.
Why she give this? Why she give YouTube?
I gave it like a
YouTube.
Hey.
You know.
She bringing back some dance moves.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm super excited.
She whipping it.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I love our energy. This is great.
Yeah,
and
that's first thing in the morning.
First thing, and I hope you guys just woke up because I just woke up.
In the morning.
Hey,
when I rise in the morning, when I rise in the morning, when I rise in the morning, when I rise. That's all y'all can handle. Y'all can't take too much of that because we'll start shouting.
No, really.
I promise you I would get up.
I will start shouting and rise all at the same time because I'm just so
grateful,
ready, and grateful. Like I'm thankful. I'm feeling some type of way this morning.
I'm feeling that too.
I really am. And if you guys don't tune in, well, you can't tune in anymore because you have to go to church.
Yeah, you have to go to church.
You have to go to
church. You can't tune into our
And
Facebook.
this Sunday, I'm telling you, like that. Pastor Sturdivant, Pastor Bamadeli, you gave me everything that I really needed in life. And sometimes we do have to let the fire fall be delivered. Like,
that's it.
To have that feeling of deliverance, it is an amazing feeling, and it is a feeling that I would want everybody that I know to experience. It's so deep, and I want you guys to get it.
It was crazy because Sunday service kind of tied into what we've been talking about.
And that's probably why I brought it up. Like,
I don't know why y'all not even tuning into these broadcasts.
Please
I don't know why they're not tuning into the broadcast, and I don't know how they could have missed the Family Matters conference on Saturday. Because everything was tied in together. It was tied together.
It was so good.
Right.
You know what? I'm not gonna say nothing else.
And you're not the only one because so many people. I was so shocked on Sunday. My wife said, that message today, and I almost lost. I said, she never compliments me.
And I didn't see that she was about to lose it.
I was like, it was the rapture about to happen. But God showed up on Sunday.
He did.
In there, and you had to have been there because we're not streaming anymore. We're trying to get people to come, and it seems like the moment that I said we're not streaming anymore,
people stop coming.
You know, the Lord just kind of has taken the ministries to another place, you know.
Yeah.
So you all are missing it. You're not there. If you're just having church where you are a member, you need to leave where you're just having church and come to a place where the fire of God is falling in a major, major way. I think that we're going to, because we are recording, and I think we're going to put little pieces of the messages on our website, and we're sending out prayers and all of our condolences out to our website designer and the one that keeps it up, Lady Yakita. She has had a death in her family, and we just we're praying for her. And you know, you even when you say you're prepared, you're never prepared.
Never prepared.
You know, and so we're praying for her.
You never know what
during this time.
Going through.
Exactly, and you just never know. So I want to encourage everyone, as Steph said, come out to 7905 Fernham Lane in District Heights, Maryland. Come out for the teachings that we do on Wednesday. We taught and prayed so quickly last Wednesday, and it was so high until people were like shocked. By the time I said amen, they didn't even know what to do. They were still sitting around like, now what do we do? Because we're in and we're out in a very, very good time. And we want you all to come and be a part of that. But I don't know what happened on Sunday. We just had a time, you know, as they said years ago. They said we had a TIME time.
What a time.
We had a TIME time. When all God's children get together. Oh, what a time. What a time. What a time. They don't know about that. We're gonna sit down at the banks of the river. Oh, what a time. What a time. What a time. See, we brought y'all back with all of that. Y'all don't know nothing about no in the morning. Y'all don't know about when all God's children get together, what a time. Y'all need to come on out because we are having a TIME time. And if you know anybody that's not tuned into this right now, you need to go ahead and tell them. Get into this. You need to share this.
Send them a
they
direct
said,
message.
you guys are going. Yes, we is. We doing it today. On the right of me, I've got her right here. She is the one that put this thing together on this past Saturday, which was bananas. We had people coming all the way down from New York, drove all the way down. I started getting reports. I got word on yesterday. They had told me, they said, you have made us have to talk as a family. They said, we have now gotten into some roots. Some started realizing, they said, I just realized that both me and my wife have over 20 siblings on our parents' side, and we don't know any of them.
Wow.
The parents, these individuals are grown. And their parents have 20 and 21 respectively. The guy told me, he says, I have aunts and uncles that are younger than my children.
Wow. Wow, yeah, that's a reality for real.
And they would not have even done the research had they not come to the Family Matters Conference trying to get to the root of certain things. I mean, this guy's 50 and he's got aunts and uncles that are younger than his youngest children.
Wow.
Yeah.
They went and did some research. So, kudos. Kudos. Kudos.
I like how you took that deep breath.
Kudos.
Right.
Kudos.
I can't even do it.
Kudos.
It's not coming out of mine either.
Right.
Yeah,
No, that's not
a
it.
little bit.
Kudos. Josiah. Greet the people. Beautiful.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, YouTube family, WBGR. Yes. We are excited, as you can tell. We're
Marcus
excited
Barber's
to be
on
here.
there. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor. He was one of the ones that said, hey, Janice, you got to bring this over to our ministry. So bless you, Pastor.
And we're going to do this two or three times a year now.
Yeah,
we're going to have to make it a quarterly thing.
Absolutely. We're going to do one next year in the spring. So y'all get ready. We're going to put that together. A whole new feel, but the same concept.
Yep.
But, you know, we're great. We're grateful to be here. Thank you all for tuning in to Back to Basics broadcast. It's one of the things as it relates to the teachings that you need in your everyday life. When I was looking up the word fall, because we've been talking about let the fire fall in our ministry, and we enter into the fall season. One of the things that come to mind is when you think about fall and you're thinking about releasing.
Right.
And so with releasing, it's so imperative in this season because you got to release some of the things, some of the habits that you picked up in the summertime.
Trees are releasing leaves.
Yes.
Some of the ones that have been on them, and they was like, oh, I was so great all year. Trees are saying, and this season in my life,
you gotta go.
I no longer need you.
Right.
Right.
And if nature is releasing some things, then why aren't we as people?
You need to fall off.
Fall off.
Come on.
So that's one of the things. So look at them. So that's why this fall season is so imperative, and we're encouraging you all, those that are on YouTube, your friends and family, send them a message, say, hey, here's the link. Tune in right now, because this teaching is getting you back to basics as far as, you know, your foundation of relationship, your foundation as it relates to your actions and how you move. And it's so necessary for this fall season to release, let go of what you've been holding on to that's not good for you.
And you know, the thing that many people don't even think about is that you may be getting this, and that's great. But when you go and try to talk to somebody else who's not even tuned in, they can't relate to, you're trying to give them some good information, and they're like, what is that? It's like you're speaking in tongues to them simply because they're not on the same page, the same wavelength, and it can get frustrating. You almost want to cut out talking to certain people because you want to go and tell them, oh, girl, you're not going to believe this, man, you're not going to believe this, and you try to say, and you all hyped up, and they're like, so what?
Right.
You know, and they give you that kind of blasé thing, and now you want to be mad at them because they're not feeling your vibe, but they can't feel your vibe when they're not in the same atmosphere where you're getting what they're getting. So you need to tell everybody to come on and get into this stuff.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And before we get into the teaching, just to reiterate, WBGR and YouTube family, as far as staying connected with Pastor Sturdivant, it's been some things that this anointing, you can tell that he's really have been in the face of God. Not saying that he's never been, but you can tell that God is taking him to another level. And I'm almost, you know, I salute you because you have to get everything before you even present it to us.
And God doesn't, he doesn't tone it down for me.
I'm sure he doesn't.
Sure.
I give you all the version that my feeble, frail flesh can get out.
Right.
But when he's hitting me, you know, he hits me hard. No cut cards, no nothing.
Regrets.
Yeah.
So even as it relates to staying in the know with Pastor Sturdivant, I encourage you all to stay connected. Don't feel like because you have been away or you kind of disconnected because it's summertime, traveling, all of that you can't return back. Come back and join us. Even if you want to join us at our ministry, 7905 Farnham Lane, District Heights, Maryland. Or if you want to follow him on his personal website, you can see we only do little clips of the sermons on Sunday just to kind of whet your appetite. But that's for you to come and join us at our facility. But if you want to know what's going on as far as where he's ministering, events that he's having, what he's doing, things that he's a part of, go on his webpage, follow him, and that's www.jesturdivantministries.com. www.jesturdivantministries.com. On that website, you can purchase the books that he's written.
Get the books.
He's written 6 books. These books are going everywhere across the world. Wherever he goes, these books are going, and people are being blessed. Why don't you? You can purchase the books. You can also, on his website, receive the daily grace from his books. It's a 30-day encouragement from Pastor Sturdivant. I mean, you can stay connected with him like that. You can also, with his website, you can sow a seed, because I promise you, he's been blessing everybody. And if you want to be a blessing as a result of receiving the teaching or the books, or just because he is an anointed man of God and you thank God for his ministry, you can do that. You can do that via Cash App, and that handle is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital capital J, capital E, capital S. Again, that handle is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. Or if you want to become a sponsor, become a partner. People have sponsored, and I told Pastor we got to do those who have connected with them and were sponsors before, who now are businesses. They got to come and give testimonials as a result
have them on.
of them being connected. And if you too have an event, have a business, have something.
You know, I'm gonna just do this one time right now. I want to shout out because these people, these two individuals did this on our broadcast, and we're gonna bring them on.
Yeah.
And that's on every Thursday at 5:30. You need to come on WBGR and tune in for TNT Health and Wellness. That's Tion and Talenthia. They are two individuals. They are the primary sellers of that total life change, that ISO T, all of that stuff.
It works.
Don't it work? Their son asked for his own vitamins, and he got his vitamins, and he now crushed his report card. Got I think he got like 3 A's, 2 B's, and only 1 C. And this is the same young man that when they came into the ministry, they said that he had autism and that he was not going to be healthy and not know how to do all of the things that everybody else does. Now that young man is almost as tall as me. He is crushing it in school. I'm talking about regular school, playing sports, doing his thing. So every Thursday at 5:30 in the afternoon, you need to tune in to TNT broadcast on WBGR. And then on Friday mornings, that's at like 8:30 in the a.m. My daughter, the CEO and the proprietor, the owner of Pooch Styles Pet Grooming in District Heights, Maryland, she is Kiana Fields Brown. She has this thing going on where she has now picked up the name of being, this is amazing, she is the queen of forgiveness. She has got such an anointing for getting people to get over past issues, forgiving people, bitterness that they've been holding on to. I want you all to please make sure you tune in to TNT on Thursday at 5:30 in the afternoon here on WBGR, and then on Friday mornings at 8:30 a.m. for Forgiveness Fridays with Kiana T. Fields Brown. Those are my children. I'm so proud of them. They didn't just sponsor me. The Lord blew up their businesses so that now they're on the air as well. And listen, for whatever area you're in, maybe you've got a business. Maybe you're trying to get something going in your career. I'm telling you, if you can just sow into this anointing, God will do it. We've got people that have gotten new homes by sowing into this anointing. People that have gotten complete life changes with careers, things that were supposed to have been happening in 2 years. One of our regular watchers, regular listeners, she is now they've already broken ground. She's going to be moving into her new house in 2019 when she was thinking she was going to have to stay where she was for another couple of years. So God has just been doing some phenomenal things. And that came from her tuning into the broadcast, calling in from Atlanta, saying, pray that I can make it back up to D.C. And she called in. We prayed for her. She got back to D.C. from Atlanta, got a new transition in her job, and now not only got a different job with better pricing, but now she is building her own house, not moving into something that somebody else built. She's building her dream house, because if it's already been owned by somebody else, that was their dream house. So she's building her dream house, and we're so proud of her. That's my daughter Wanda Briscoe, the same one that beat cancer several times and tried to come back again, and we bless God for her. So I'm just shouting out people who have been in touch with, supporting, and taking care of this ministry. They're getting blessings, and we're going to bring all of them on one day just so they can talk about what God is doing with them by connecting with this business, this ministry.
It's amazing. I have my own business, Josiane, and we're doing some things as well. We connect and Nice. So it doesn't take away anything as far as supporting and sewing. And the thing is, when you believe in somebody's vision, that's the thing. When you believe and you see that their ministry is growing, you want to tap into it. So if you also want to become a sponsor, maybe you say, I don't have a business, but you have an event, you have a workshop, you have a conference, you have something that's going on, and you want to become a partner, you can do that by contacting me, Janice Sturdivine. I can give you all that information, and I can be reached at 301-736-2383.
Tell them again, y'all.
301-736-2383. 301-736-2383. Why are you putting out his hat when we giving out the phone number?
You know, this is my throwback joint. My throwback joint. It was in my trunk for like about 3 years.
Giving us a swag on a sunny Wednesday. Giving us a little swag, letting us know. Now, can y'all believe he's turning?
I'm about
61
to turn. It's about to
next
happen.
month.
It's about
Can
to
y'all
happen.
believe that? WBGR. You too.
It's about to happen.
61
it's
next
about
month.
To happen.
So even if you also
it's
want to
getting
start,
ready to happen.
Hey.
It's getting ready to happen. Okay, that's enough. That's it.
If y'all want to also sow a seed and say, hey, happy birthday, Pastor.
Yep.
You can also do that at that Cash App handle, $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. All right, you can go ahead and take it away.
Listen, we've been having so much fun around here, and we can just come on and just talk and have fun because what we're finding is that even as we're teaching this, it's helping us.
Absolutely.
While we're teaching it, it's liberating us. That's one of the things that if you are ever going to be in a position for God to do something through you, God has to do it to you before he can get it through you.
Absolutely.
So if God is going to have you teaching on wealth, he's got to let wealth run through you. Sure. So that when people hear you teach it, they say, ah, really? So if God is going to have you teaching about healing, he's got to let healing flow through you. Yeah. So people can say, ah, really? So that, really?
Okay.
Goes for everything.
No, that's all it is.
Really? Are the guys saying it like that too?
Nah, they're not doing it like that.
That's why I had to do it.
Well, in Nigeria, they do it like that. They be like, you know, everybody's doing it. You know. So listen. We're just geeked. We're so excited about being here. Now, one of the things that we were doing, and I'm telling you, I so appreciate, you know, you have to be in a posture where you value people for their giftings. And I really want to appreciate Janice. She's my daughter, but she has, one of the things we had shared on this past weekend at the Family Matters Conference, and one of the things that the counselor said is that sometimes you kind of like have that one person in the family that always has the ability to pull the family together. And for our family, Janice is that individual. And I was so excited, so blessed, because by virtue of what she had done, this was the first time that all of my siblings had been together since my sister died. Now, the thing that's interesting is that, and I'm just going to give one little bit, not going to be too transparent, but there had been so much going on in my family until, you know, you would never see my two brothers sitting at the same table together.
Capture those moments.
You would not have seen that because of the strife, the things that have gone on. But here's what happens. Age, illness, and death makes you forget a whole lot of stuff and start wanting to cleave to who you really thought was not important. Don't let you have to get too old, have an illness, or die. Have somebody to die in your family before you start realizing you need to reconnect with your family. I'm just telling you, from our family, from our heart to yours, don't have those things happening. So I was so glad to have all of my siblings there. I was glad to have all of my children there. You know, and so there's always the dynamic. People say, well, why are you this, why are you that? No, when you can have all of your siblings, all of your children, and my mother, and my mother-in-law,
and
her children. Well, two of her children. You know, but I was so blessed to have all of them there representing that. And, you know, it becomes a thing whereas people are trying to say, well, why your family this? Well, you have to work on that for your family too. Work on it for your family. So I appreciate, and I wanted to give that shout out for Janice for being that individual in our family that goes after it, that makes that happen. And not just for the Family Matters Conference, but what she does every day in the group homes, working with young people who have been abandoned or kicked out by their families as a result of them wilding out. And I'm not talking about young people like 25, 26. I'm talking about young people like 14, 15, already pregnant, already involved in relationships that are abusive, you know, wifey beating up wifey in some of these 13, 14-year-old relationships. It's just a lot that she is dealing with them. And then she goes and does a crisis hotline from midnight until 6 or 8 in the morning. Just people that are dealing with issues and wanting to commit suicide. So I really appreciate that God has raised up for that. And that is, I think that's probably why God did not even allow the next top model, the NLA, the all of those things that you thought were your thing that you wanted to do. They were your passion, but not your purpose. And God has you now walking in your purpose. And I believe that, and then I do want to say this, just so that you don't think it's all gone, she does do Josiane modeling and mentorship. And she's got a couple of young girls that even though she is now not doing that. What are you saying, Sharonda? Oh, yeah.
So much
we love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Even though she is not doing the modeling thing, she is now mentoring young girls that want to get into the modeling arena. She is now helping them. And so what she has now walked away from, she is helping others to walk into. You know, we always say around our ministry that experience may be the best teacher, but the experience doesn't have to be yours for you to learn from it. So she's helping them to avoid some of the pitfalls, how to get their portfolios together, how to get everything together, how to prepare for what that arena is. And so we appreciate her for doing that as well. So if you're out there, mother, grandmother, and you've got some young girls that you don't know what they want to do with their lives, why don't you just have them, why don't you set up an appointment for them to meet with Janice? And I tell you what, I'm going to put this out there for those who are listening. She will give you the first sit-down meeting, 45 minutes for free.
Absolutely.
So I'm telling you, I didn't talk to her about this.
I was on the same page.
You felt that?
Yeah, I did.
The consultation.
So here we are. Here we are right now.
Giving second opinion for free.
Exactly. So she will do that for you.
Absolutely.
The first 45-minute consultation, sit down, help you to sort out. You've got a young girl, you've got a young lady, someone that's really dealing with what do I want to do with my future? I don't know where I want to go with my life. I don't know what I want to do with my life. She is one that can help her as a life coach. First 45 minutes, absolutely free. After that, you all can discuss the terms. But I'm doing that. I'm taking father, pastor privilege to do that. And Steph has seconded that emotion. You know, so there's nothing that Janice can do or say except have that meeting.
No problem.
Give them that phone number one more time, and then give them your email as well.
No problem. The phone number, I can also be reached at 301-736-2383.
If you remember the jingle, remember the song, you can reach
You got that number. If you want to reach me via email, it's so simple. It's J Sturdivant, STURDIVANT, the number 2.
Same number, same last name as mine.
at gmail.com. J Sturdivant, the number 2 at gmail.com. I see you, Rochelle. That's her talking about her daughter.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we're very, very excited about what God is doing, how He is moving, and the things that are taking place in the ministry, in our lives, and things to that nature. And so we're very, very happy, very, 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 very happy to be coming at you.
Yes.
Now listen, one of the things that we were discussing, and I just now shared it in passing, about there was a time that you would not see my two brothers sitting at the same table.
Yeah.
There are things that can happen in families in certain stages that will make you have resentment for family members, even though you are now at different ages. It could have happened at certain stages, and carry on even though you are at different ages. There are some people right now that are mad at siblings because you got a doll and I wanted a doll. It's like, but y'all got 5 children apiece.
Right.
And you are still beefing over a doll.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying. So so some things happen at stages. I was reading just the other day, and it was Fernando Vargas, who is a boxer, and Oscar De La Hoya, who is a boxer. And I was reading where they are now both, they've got to both be in their 40s or close to their 40s, in their 40s. They're both in their 40s, and they are now saying, here was the reason why we hated each other when we both lived in Southern California. And then here was the caveat. It may or may not have happened. So now here they are in their 40s, still beefing over something that happened when they were in their teens as amateur boxers. But now they can't even remember if it really did or did not happen.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of what happens sometimes in families, is that you can wind up having a beef or an ought or an argument with a family member, and it is so far removed until you can't even remember what it was that you were mad about, but both of you, or the sides of the family of you, nobody wants to take a step back. Or wants to let it go. Again, we're in the fall. You said that means release some things. You've got to let some things go. And no one wants to let it go. And so the beef goes on. Not the beat. The beef goes on. So you have to have somebody that is mature enough, get ready for this, who doesn't have to be right. I don't have to be right. That's a major statement right there. Because in most of what we're doing, it is, I want to be right. Why? Because the thing that you are dealing with is actually a form of competitive jealousy. Why do I say competitive jealousy? Because competition means someone has to win and someone has to lose. And so I'm not going to let it go, because if I allow you to be right, then that means that I've lost. And I would rather hold the grudge than to let it go and let you be right. And there are many people who are right now, won't show up for family gatherings, will stay away from weddings, won't show up at funerals. If they do show up, they act like they don't even know each other. We were sharing in the conference on Saturday. I said, how are you going to not be talking to someone? We scratched each other's legs with our toenails because we slept in the same bed. You know, we wet the bed. Each person got wet because you had so many things that made you connect with a person. And then because of an issue at a stage, you're still carrying it to this age. And so what I wanted to do, I wanted to kind of look at a few situations where there were some issues within the family, because we're still dealing with this dysfunctional type of thing. And the dysfunction can show up in many ways. For example, the dysfunction can show up because people cannot communicate. It can show up because some want something that the other one has. One of the things, thank you so much, I see that. Yeah, old school. So the thing, she was picking up that old school, the beat goes on. Not the beef goes on, the beat goes on. Is that you can have things that will tear at the fiber of your family, and you don't even realize what was it that made us be like this in the first place. For example, if you look in Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 through 8, Genesis 4, verse 1 through 8, you're going to see the story of Cain and Abel. And I'm really going to mess you up a little bit in this story. And I've got 3 examples. I don't know if I'll get to all 3 of them today, but I'll start with Cain and Abel, because if you'll notice in that story, and we have told you before, it's twin brothers. We've read it. We've been over that with you. It's twin brothers. But the real issue, get ready for this, the real issue in that story was over a matter of worship. But it came down to competitive jealousy in careers. Cain's job or career was tilling the ground. Abel's job or career was raising sheep. But when they came to church to worship, Cain offered vegetables, Abel offered the fat of the lamb, and God said, hey, listen, you all ain't talking at home. Why don't you all work out an agreement? Cain, talk to your brother Abel. Trade him some of your vegetables and your produce for some of his sheep. And then both of you all, when y'all come to me, I want a mutual worship where both of you offer me the fat of sheep. And Cain says, man, if you don't want this, you ain't getting nothing from me. You know, people like that when it comes to worship, you know. They want God to accept, I get here late, if I come at all, you know. I'm going to give you what I want to give you. I'm going to come when I want to come, you know. And if that's not good enough for you, I'll go someplace else. Why? Because I ain't got to come at all. I don't have to come to church to worship you. I can worship you in my bed. I ain't got to come. And what God was doing was a bigger picture. He was trying to work out a family issue in the place of worship. If you can get everybody to the same place and not focus on each other and focus on God, then we have a common denominator. That's what that conference on Saturday did. It brought people to one place, family members. And I'm going to tell you, some of the people that were there, they were having issues when they got there. And some had to drive a long distance in the car with people they had issues with to get here for the sake of working out the issues. And so it's important that you kind of look at this thing. Now watch what happens. Because Cain and Abel had not been able to talk and work out their issues, you know how the story goes. Cain kills his brother Abel. I looked at that, and that's just a story, and it kind of went on like we've always heard the story. God challenges him and all of that kind of stuff like that. But what got me, that really messed me up a little bit about the dysfunction, was when you get down to verse number 25 of chapter 4, 1 through 8, is where you see Cain and Abel's issues. But I want to know what caused all of that, the root of it, which is what we dealt with. And now you're going to see in chapter 4, verse 25, where you're going to start seeing what's going on that caused the friction between the siblings. Please read that for me, Josiane.
And Adam knew his wife again.
Right, he knows his wife again. We've gone over that Cain and Abel, the way that it's worded, they were twins, and now he is knowing his wife Eve again, and she is going to conceive. Go forth.
And she bore a son and named him Seth.
Right.
For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel.
Wait a minute. For God has appointed another seed for
me.
What about for me and Adam?
Right.
No, God has appointed another seed for
me.
Which means that now you're seeing a picture where you have parents that have their favorite child.
Sure.
That brings about family dysfunction. When you have parents, because remember I told you before, in the way that the book of Genesis is written, it is not showing a child being born and then growing up and becoming a parent and then giving birth to Cain and Abel. You have full-grown people, Adam and Eve, and then they give birth to children, which means that if you're going to deal with the root or the foundation of a thing, you've got to start from the parents and not just from the actions of the children. You've got to start with the foundation. When on Saturday, we had to go back into great-grandparents when we were dealing with this thing. We couldn't just stop at our parents because the parents were like, well, my mother and father such and such and such. So we had to go into grandparents and great-grandparents, and Janice did such a wonderful job. She had us with a tree to find out what was the soil. I'm not going to try to say that she took that from what we've been teaching on here, because I talk about you got to deal with what foundationalizes or what waters the roots of things. I'm not going to say that she did any of that, but she had trees for everyone, where you had a tree with roots and soil. You had to figure out what was the soil, what was the root, and then what made the trunk of your family, and then what made the branches out of that trunk, and then what were the leaves that were the offshoot of those branches. Wonderful concept. I saw people writing down everything that they had on those leaves. I was like, my God. I mean, the root was the basis of it was simple. It might be insecurity. It might have been lack of education or something like that. But by the time them branches came out, it came out from those branches like competitive jealousy, you know, competition with my siblings, you know, I mean, they had all of that. Then the leaves started showing, you know, things like addictions, trying to keep up with this person, that person. I mean, it was amazing. And they had to take them home and keep working on them. So we're now getting into what was it that made Cain and Abel competitive? What was it that made them unable to talk with one another? What was it that made Cain, the moment that Abel comes out into the field, as we saw in chapter number 4? I mean, all Abel was trying to do was to talk with his brother. That's like, he just wanted to talk with him. He just wanted to have a talk with him. Watch what it says right here, verse number 3 of Genesis chapter number 4. Please read that.
And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit to the ground of the Lord.
All right. Now come down, please, to verse number 8, please.
Now Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel and his brother and killed him.
Now, I mean, all they was doing was talking.
I just wanted to holler at you.
Bruh, he came running out into the field. Bruh, he was out there tilling the ground, doing what he does. I want you all to get this. God, Lord, I love you so much. He's out there tilling the ground because he is one that knows how to do produce. He knows how to do vegetables. He knows how to dig a row, to plant seeds, to get cucumbers and tomatoes and all of that stuff. His brother comes out there who is a shepherd. He's out there now, get ready. He is in his brother's, Abel is in his brother's arena. He's in his brother's arena. You in my turf now. You in my territory. You in my spot. And he goes out there to talk with him. And when he goes out there to talk with him, it says he goes out to talk to him and says Cain rises up against him. What does it say? He rises up against his brother and did what verse 8?
And he killed his brother.
He killed him.
He killed him.
In the field.
That's crazy. In the field and killed him. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I just wanted to holler.
Oh, wow. Like, that happens so
and
much
I'm
nowadays.
a twin.
Come on.
And I'm a twin. That makes you think like, wow, what was it?
Yeah.
What was so bad in you all's relationship that you all couldn't have a conversation?
We can't even
Have a
talk.
conversation. That was a whole
And then
lot
even
of...
from the person's perspective who is not even considering that's about to happen.
Exactly.
I'm about to just go do something that's regular.
This
that's
is regular.
normal.
I should be able to talk.
I should be able to do this.
And I come in your ear. He rises up and he kills him. Now here's what it says. Read verse number 9 and 10 stuff, because this is gonna really mess you up. Go ahead.
Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel, your brother?"
Where's Abel, your brother? Where's God is now confronting Cain because some stuff you do, you ain't gonna let people confront you. Only God can confront you because you can lie to people. You can run games on people. God has to confront him. And watch, go ahead, keep reading, Steph.
He said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?"
Don't come at me. I don't know. Why you coming at me? I don't know where he is.
Right.
I am not my brother's keeper.
Right.
I don't know where he is. Holler at his mother.
Right.
Ask his father.
Exactly.
You know, why are you coming at me? You know, seriously.
The one who is not giving you the offering.
I'm not giving you the offering. So, but now you can talk to me about him.
Right.
How dare you come?
We haven't talked in a long
You
time.
rejected my offering.
Right.
But now you want to talk to me. See, he could throw all this shade. See, you have to read the Bible and look at it from how real people are. And since you're the ones in it, get a look at that. There you are. Thank you. So let's just say we need more leaves for our tree.
We got more. No problem.
Now here's what's major. I want you all, don't want you to miss. I told you I wasn't going to get you anymore. But don't miss this. Read some more, Steph. Watch what he says.
And he said.
Who is it? Watch this. It says.
And he said.
Now, see, that's God now, because Cain just now said, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
Right.
And so after he makes that statement, here's God's response. Go ahead.
What have you done?
What have you done? I'm coming at you because it's really just for you all in here.
Right.
It's you, your mother, your father, and your brother. Your brother is gone. Last time anybody saw him, he was in the field with you. So I'm coming to you. You know, it's always amazing how people want folk to not come at them when you are the one that's in the situation.
You're wrong. And it's so crazy how kids can be surprised. I remember, kids be surprised when parents, because parents already know the problem when they approach
they know.
They just want to see how you're going to respond. If you're going to admit the truth, if you're going to be honest, are you going to say your truth? So when kids, hey, if you're listening, teenagers, just know when parents say, hey, I want to talk to you, what's going on, they already know what's going on. God already knew what was going on.
Yep.
He just wanted to see if he was going to be honest.
And he's given him the same opportunity that he gave his father in chapter number 3 when he said, Adam, where are you?
Yeah, exactly. I
already know where you at. I've got an all-seeing eye. I'm omnipresent. I know where you are. I just want to know, are you going to admit to where you are? God gives us, that's what grace does. Grace gives you a chance to get it right. And yet some of us won't even take advantage of the grace. We still want to live it out. I'm going to ride this horse. I'm going to ride this horse until
I can get away with it just a little longer.
Just a little bit longer. Come on, read, Steph. Watch this.
Real quick before I continue to read. If I did not know, you would not have asked.
Right.
First and foremost. And sometimes we forget, I knew all this time and now I'm in a different place. And because I moved from where I should be or where I would normally be. Now I don't know where I always had an answer. Just a little sidebar.
That is so good. You hear this? That was not StephTheBest.net.org.com, the DOT. That was .edu. Yeah, she dropped that wisdom. That wisdom. That wisdom. That wisdom. That wisdom. WEEZ.
Go ahead.
DOM.
Okay.
Come on.
And he said, what have you done?
What have you done?
The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground.
Wait a minute. The voice of your brother's blood. Not your brother.
Right.
But his blood still speaks. His blood is talking to me. And don't miss this. The voice of your brother's blood, get ready, cries out to me. Where?
From under the ground.
From where?
Under the ground.
From where?
Under the ground. You know.
Wait a minute.
That's some good connection right
there.
there.
What is Cain good at? He's good at working the ground, tilling the ground. He is good at taking care of the ground, making stuff grow from the ground. Now he is using what he is good at to cover what he's bad at. Oh my goodness. He is good at getting the ground to produce. Now he is using the thing that he was good at, tilling the ground, to cover what he was bad at. What was he bad at? Communication. So he kills. So he now tries to make the ground, cover his wrong. Where did we see that? We saw that with Adam. Adam was in charge of the garden. He named all of the trees. He was in charge of everything. But the moment that Adam sinned, Adam then went to the bushes, which he was tilling, which he was good at. And he took what he was good at, stripped the fig tree, and covered what he was bad at, which was trying to keep his relationship with God. Cain had the same type of job, career skills of his father Adam.
And you can tell it was a good connection. It's almost as if Father.
Yeah.
Not ma'am, Father. It's almost as if you had to have a good connection. I mean, Cain had a good connection with God, which is how he knew that something wasn't right.
Right.
It's you. The people that you are connected to is so important. If we don't have a connection, if something happened to me, it would be unfortunate that you wouldn't know what's going on.
Wouldn't have any idea.
Wouldn't have any idea. But the fact that there was a connection, like, okay, well, I can ask you about it. And a lot of times we be so busy doing us or disconnecting from people that when we're going through stuff, we try to handle everything on our own. But you want to have a connection where somebody is there to be able to help you. And
if something happens,
yeah.
you know, I used to always say, you know, where you all going to be, where are you going, you know, and some of my kids would be like, oh, I'm going to be here, I'll be such and such a place, I'll be home by such and such a time. And then others, because I've got 4, then others was like, I'm all right, I ain't got to tell you nothing, I'm good. But the bad part about that, whether it's my kids or somebody that's tied into you, is that if you were to have and I always say, it's not because I'm trying to spy on you, but if something were to happen to you, I would not even know where to begin to look. I'd have to try to call some of your friends whose numbers I don't have to try and ask, when did they last see you? Where are you? See, and so we're sometimes trying so busy to hide everything we're doing until we don't realize that we have disconnected and that no one knows what's going on. Then later on, when you come together, it's like, I was this, that, and the other. One of my kids told me that, and I said, well, I had no idea what was going on with you. You said nothing to me. You was where you chose to be, you know. Cain now has taken the ground. He did. Which was his career, his goals, his job, and tried to hide his sin by being more active in his work.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness. That is just so, this thing is just too pregnant. Yeah. The text is talking too much. Right. You know, we can't cover all of this because we try to cover what we're doing. I say, oh, I gotta work. I got to
staying busy.
I gotta work. I was at such and such a. Come on. Come on.
2 o'clock in the morning?
Come on. Come on. And one guy told me, so I can't be there because I gotta work on Sundays. It's like, yeah, but you work at night.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, you know, it's at night. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where you start having these things, whereas if you could just hear the way you're sounding to the person that you're saying it to, you know. So he is now taking the ground and burying his sin in what he's good at. Sure. And there's someone who's listening to me right now, you're listening to me right now, and you're trying to cover everything that you know is not right, justifying it with some other things. And that's what he tried to do. And I'm telling you, Cain was in the same line of work as his father, and Abel was running out to talk with him. Why? Because like Eve, his mother, he liked communication. That's how Eve wound up talking to the serpent when Adam was standing there saying nothing. You start seeing the personalities of the children in the parents.
Yeah. And covering up, when you think about covering up, look, think about a sheet.
Come on.
Think about dirt. Think about things that, as far as how we cover up stuff, those things are only temporary. They move. Yeah. They move. When you, as far as a sheet doesn't just stay there. It moves. Dirt moves with wind. You know, and we try to cover up and think it's going to stay, but covering up only lasts for a long time.
It only lasts for a little bit of time. Now watch this. The Bible talks about that you can lay in the bed and you'll try to cover your head, but your feet are hanging out. Your feet are hanging out.
Something's
going to be exposed. Then you try to cover your feet and your head is hanging out.
Something's going to be exposed.
There's going to be something that is exposed. Now the interesting thing is that Cain was like Adam.
Yeah.
Abel was like Eve. But when Eve had Cain that killed Abel, watch what Eve said. Eve said, what again, Janice?
For God has appointed another seed for me.
He has appointed another seed for me. Abel is like his father. I mean, yeah, Abel is like me. Cain is like his father. So now what happened was when my child Abel was killed by Cain, it's as if a piece of me has died. And so now she has another child named
Seth.
And Seth's name means substitute or replacement. And she says, God has now appointed what?
Another seed for me.
Another seed for me, not for Adam.
Adam out the picture at this point.
This ain't got nothing to do with Adam. He did his job by getting me pregnant. I don't need him for nothing else. Appointed another child for me. For what purpose?
Instead of Abel.
Instead of Abel. Which means that Seth is coming on the scene as a replacement, living in the shadow of his brother, never going to be accepted for who he is, never being appreciated, even coming on the scene. He's innocent. A baby is innocent. There's nothing more innocent than a baby. He is coming on the scene innocently and is already put in the shadow of a dead sibling that he could never live up to.
Unfair and dysfunctional.
It is the dysfunction of the family. And I say this as I conclude, that there are some of you right now, and you don't even realize that the only reason why you're even being tolerated is because your family member is looking at you as a replacement for something. Some of you children will never be fully accepted. I am a child that looks just like my mother, but I was hated by my father because my father had issues with my mother. And so he hated me because I was the reminder of my mother. And so he has a problem with me. And there are some that can't even embrace the child that is there because you got pregnant by somebody that you were with on the rebound from the person that you really wanted to be with. And so the child is the reminder of the rebound and is not who you really wanted to be pregnant by. Maybe you were the one that the person that you wanted to be with, you got pregnant by them and that baby was lost. And so now you wanted a baby, but you got with somebody else and you're trying to figure out why could I not have had a baby with the one that I wanted. And the child doesn't even know. The child is growing up, not feeling love, not feeling wanted, not feeling valued, not feeling appreciated because they don't even know that they were not really even wanted. You show your favoritism with certain children, whether it's that, why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be more like your brother? Or I can comb your sister's hair easier than I can comb your hair. Or why are you this, that, and the other? You have to do this because you have that. Well, why about somebody? Well, they don't have that same issue. And there's a dysfunction that's going on in the family simply because parents have played favorites with their children, and then children have their favorite parents, and so they won't talk to this one, but they'll talk to this one, and then you start seeing the same attributes in this parent and this child, and it's almost like these two against these two, or these three against these three. If a child does good, that's your child. If the child does bad, that's your child. And we try to do all of these types of things instead of just loving. And that's why there's a dysfunction in the family. I'm going to get into this a little bit more because I'm going to show you in the next case that I bring up, I'm going to show you where a mother and a son conspire to deceive a father and a son. I'm going to show you. It's in the Bible. I'm going to show you how parents and children will play. When I was growing up, I used to go down the country, Louisiana County, Virginia, and when I would go down the country, do you know that there would be situations where my grandfather would say, you can do this, but don't tell your grandmother. Yeah. Or my grandmother would say, you can do this, but don't tell your grandfather. Yeah. You know, and now you've got deception. Amongst the people that are married, and now they are teaching by their actions deception to the children. Don't tell your mother I took you all out for ice cream. Right. Don't tell your father I took you all out to go get something. Don't tell. And we bring that deception. And while it looks innocent with ice cream and soda and lollipops when they're younger, when they are now older and they're lying on their income taxes and they ain't telling you the truth about what's going on, you have now allowed a seed, a root, to be put in so that that deception now has some soil to grow up in and now manifest in much larger ways. I might have run out of time, but I've not run out of word. Listen, I am J.E. Sturdivant, pastor of the Faith United Ministry, 7905 Fernham Lane in District Heights, Maryland. I want to invite you to come out tonight. We are doing some teaching, and we're going to be giving away free groceries, as we do every single Wednesday. After we teach, we give away groceries. We gave away so much meat, so much stuff last week for kids, for school, Lunchables and everything. We give away food. Target and Giant and Six Flags, they have partnered with us, and they give us groceries, and we have things that we have to give away because it's fresh produce, and we don't have the capacity to keep all of them or to freeze all of the food. We want you to come be a part of our teaching session starting at 7 o'clock sharp. We will pray, and we're going to teach, and you'll be out of there by 8:30. We're going to have a great time, and you get free groceries. And this is...
Best.
You know who this is right here.
I'm Janice.
And there are some people that are on the air because they like the way they sound on the air. Others are on the air because somebody can afford to put them on the air. But we're on the air because what? We got something to say. We got something to say. We got something to say. We out of here. Big shout out to Mr. Lionel Green. The man is doing some big things. I don't want to steal this thunder, but y'all about to, when he gives me the ability, I'm going to make this huge announcement on my broadcast. He about to blow up. Boo! God bless you. WBGR family, we out of here.
YouTube, y'all share this.
Please
man.
share it, share it, share it,
This
share it,
was
share
stuff.
it. This was some good stuff.
So
I touched on some things.
Appreciate you.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Yep. Parents do this,
Yes.
Lady Sharonda. They do.
Yep.
Parents do this. I'm telling you, this is a good one now. Oh yeah. By the way, don't forget 3 o'clock. We'll be back on again. 3 o'clock. We want you all to come on and be back with us. We're going to be talking about love in that relationship. We touched on it last week. Started talking about how Samson's wife used love to manipulate him, and we want you all to come on so we can get another part of that. want you to get another part of that. Thank you so much, Pastor Barbara. Thank you. Want y'all to come on. Be with us. This is going to be an awesome.
Share this one though. If you were blessed,
you better
by
share
it on your timeline.
Yep.
Copy and paste it.
Ooh, there it is. Right. She said, and my son's father didn't want me to have the sons.
Wow.
These are real things.
That's your reality. Yeah.
These are real things, because, and I've seen situations, I can't go into it right now, but I've seen situations where when the child had some issues, then in most cases it was the man that did it, but I've seen it with women as well, where they walked away because they said, I don't produce damaged goods. Yeah. And they walked away or walked out of the lives of the child because they did not want to acknowledge that, there may have been something wrong. Or I don't produce girls. That can't be my child. I don't produce boys. That can't be my child.
The child has a disorder.
Like things like that. They just walk away. And so we want to get to this thing. Thank you so much, Wanda Briscoe. Yes, real issues. I know you've experienced them. Yes. These are the real issues that happen in families. And that's why we're dealing with the dysfunction, because even though there is the dysfunction, it doesn't mean that you cannot function.
Absolutely.
We told them that on Saturday. A dysfunction does not mean you cannot function. Jesus came from a dysfunction. We don't even know who his father is. No, that's what the society was saying. She pregnant.
Yeah. Right.
Joseph said he ain't touching.
Right.
She tried to tell us the Holy Ghost did it. I got your Holy Ghost. The dysfunction in the family. Yeah. We know his brothers and sisters were Joseph's kids, but he is the only one, based on how they looked at it, that had a questionable birth. And so the dysfunction, but it didn't stop him from going on, fulfilling his purpose and being the Messiah. And just because you may have come from a dysfunction doesn't mean that you can't function. That's my last word. I'm out of here. God bless you too, family.